Eternal Return Season 2 is right around the corner, and the hype train is rolling in full force. What's poppin', everyone? It's your boy Levi, and we're diving into the upcoming season covering everything we know so far about Eternal Return Season 2, from gameplay changes to new characters and much more. First up, the gameplay changes. Eternal Return has always been about strategic gameplay, and this season we can expect new mechanics and balance adjustments coming. Here's what you need to know to stay competitive in the game. New characters are arriving on Lumia Island. Releasing with the start of the season, the 69th character Lenny will be released. Lenny was announced in the previous season of Eternal Return along with Tsubame, the second character of Season 2. We'll also be getting Kenneth towards the end of the season. Announced for Eternal Return Season 3 are Katya, Hertz, and Charlotte, who we only know their name after it appeared on Season 3 section of the roadmap. In addition to the new characters, we're also getting new augments and tactical skills. Old augments Frenzy, Oblivion Can Wait, and Run It Back will be removed, as well as a plethora of secondary augments. Important to note, Stopping Power, a Havoc sub-augment that was removed during preseason, has been returned to the game. The new augments are in the Havoc tree, Open Wounds, Carnivore, and Endorphin. In the Fortification tree, Camping Guide and Unwavering Mentality with a rework to Cavalcade. And in the Support tree, Thrill the Hunt and Urban Warfare with reworks to the previous augments Amp Drone, Healing Drone, and Logistics. The same type of rework will be applied to attack skills. Blasting Bullet is being removed and the Strider is being added. Protocol Violation, Quake, Soul Stealer, and Nullification will also receive adjustments to be more viable. And finally, we're getting new item changes. Blood Cloak and Astronaut Helmet are receiving the Decomposition passive, making it so enemies take skill damage based on their max health when hit by a skill. Guardian Suit, a tank chest piece, is receiving the Enlightenment passive, decreasing attack speed, good against enemy basic attackers. Reaper Scythe, an offensive chest piece, executes enemies below 8% health if the wielder reaches an armor penetration threshold. Pulverization, a new arm piece that reduces defense when attacking enemies. Cooldown reduction is also being adjusted to be in multiples of 5, meaning that the 12 and 8% items will be rounded. Some characters are also being changed along with some weapon skills. These are subject to change with the patch. And finally, the quality of life changes that are being added. The first address is the ability to loot clusters of animals at one time. Overlapping was an issue where it took way too much time to click on a different animal drops to see the loot. Now clusters can be looted all at once. Next up, the death recap overlay will be added. This will show you who and what you took the most damage from in a fight and show how you died. While this overlay will be in-game, the end-of-game analysis screen is also being improved. Kiosk call-in time is being reduced to 1 second, reducing the kiosk NTR experience of getting your box stolen. Input buffering is also being adjusted to match other MOBA games. The quick cast indicator system will also be adjusted with this change. There are listed as changes that will likely take longer than Season 2 and 3 to complete, so don't expect them right away. A colorblind mode will also be added, and you can change the colors of individual teams. I'm personally very excited about this, but we might have to wait until Season 3 according to the roadmap. And as a final note for the gameplay changes, solos and duos modes were mentioned. The developers are open to reintroducing these game modes, but Eternal Return will need more growth before we see them again. Eternal Return is operating on a if it's not broke, don't fix it strategy, meaning there isn't going to be a ton of changes to the core elements of the game. Season 1 was a successful season, and during the dev stream, Nimble Neuron announced that Season 4 and 5 will be the big seasons with big changes such as hacking, sky jumps, new areas, and solos, duos, and Cobalt changes. But there are some core changes coming to Season 2. Safe zones are being improved. Starting on Day 3, there will be more safe zones available than usual, making the map bigger. This is to hopefully avoid getting third party if there are a lot of teams still alive. Temporary safe zones on Day 5 will also be adjusted. During the safe zone phase, satellite radar will no longer provide vision of the remaining teams and will no longer show you how many teams are still alive. You also won't be able to hover over the opposite team's safe zone to see if teams are fighting in it from out of vision. There was also mention about increasing temporary safe zones to 3 when there were more than 3 teams left on Day 5. This was mentioned on the Eternal Return roadmap, but this wasn't brought up during the dev stream. There will also be a vote prior to trying to escape Lumia Island. When a teammate purchases a rootkit, a vote will be prompted on whether you want to choose to escape or not. The team must vote in majority to escape to be eligible to go to the abandoned dock. If the vote fails, you can re-vote again in 2 minutes. This might be subject to change from a majority vote to a unanimous vote during the season. Also coming throughout the season, the communication system is being improved. When holding down Control or Alt and clicking, more options will be available. The ability to also ping skills, enemy items, remaining players, kiosks, and objectives will also be available. More changes on this will be coming during Season 3 as well. Push-to-talk voice chat option will become the default option rather than off. This makes it so that by default, you can at least listen to comms from your team rather than having no communication at all. A live translation chat feature will also be implemented in the future, so players playing internationally can communicate. One of the hot topics and biggest issues of Season 1 was the new rank system in matchmaking, and this was addressed for Season 2. Let's dive in. Pre-made teams of 3 were a big problem in the higher elos due to the top ranks not being able to pre-make their teams. Communication is an important aspect of Eternal Return combat, so much so that pre-made mid middle ranked players were having success against the top players forced to solo in every region. Queues will start out separate if you're solo versus being in a pre-made, and based on the amount of time waited by the longest person in queue, it will start to match solos with pre-mades over time. Nimble Neuron is also working on a solution to fix 2-man pre-mades as well. Next up is tier inflation, specifically in the Diamond Elo. The scoring system will be modified to help adjust the higher brackets. Between Bronze 4 and Platinum 1, the entry cost between individual tiers will be increased by 4 instead of 2. This means that the Diamond 4 entry will now start at 50 instead of 43. In Diamond Elo, the increase of individual tiers will only be 1. Promoting from Diamond to Mithril will result in a +2 RP gain rather than +3, and will be received every 250 points in Mithril. The entry cost for Mithril will remain at 55, and the entry cost for Immortal will be lowered from 79 to 71. With the adjustments to ranks, there will also be adjustments to matchmaking. As I mentioned earlier, there will be some implementations coming to 2-man pre-mades. The first of this will be reducing 2-person pre-made teams to a 1-rank tier difference, with a plan to make it the same tier queue if it doesn't work out. There will be a complete overhaul of the matchmaking structure to distribute fairer MMR to create tighter tier restrictions in Diamond Plus and looser restrictions in Platinum Under. Now, what's a new season without some fantastic cosmetics? We'll discuss the new cosmetics options that are sure to make your favorite characters even cooler and stand out in Lumia Island. You won't want to miss these. Starting off with the Battle Pass, Eternal Return Season 2 theme is Battle Maids. Maid skins for Aya, Bernice, and Rosie will be in the Battle Pass, with the exclusive Fiora skin coming in the Battle Pack. Coming also this season are Street Fighter Piolo, Cozy Camper Sylvia, Prison Guard Abigail, Mr. Elegante Alonso, Pixel Art Tia, Tropical Gateway Celine, an unnamed Theodore skin on the ER roadmap that I believe was called Crusader Theodore at one point, Wild West Isaac, and Christmas-themed skins for Hedgen and Luke. A Lenny skin and a Tazio skin were also showcased and announced for Season 3. Improvements to the forging system are set to be put in place over the future of the game rather than all at once. This includes a mileage system where once you meet a spending threshold, you can pick a skin of your choice. Skins that came from early access events and packs will be potentially reinstated in a special store sale once reaching over a year old. This is to help combat characters with no skins that aren't able to be purchased, like Leon. It wasn't mentioned if this will include the cadet skins. This was stated as a potential and not guaranteed as well. A-Coin is also being adjusted to help those newer to the game. While a lot of us early access players have an abundance of A-Coin, it's been harder to come by for newer players. Occasionally, events will include a disassembly voucher used to disassemble cosmetics without the use of A-Coin. A-Coin will also be purchasable in the store. Research boxes didn't hold the same value as skin data boxes, and research center data boxes keys are being removed. More rewards are being added to these boxes, as well as a fever time. I'll be making a separate video about it when it's implemented, so more on this then. Web events and attendance is also being addressed and will be made easier in the future. A basic attendance log and reward system is being looked at for Season 3. Highly requested by the community, Eternal Return is finally giving their characters some lore updates. Due to the large amounts of changes from Eternal Return Early Access to 1.0, there wasn't time to work on any story aspects of the game. More story aspects will be coming in Season 3, with the addition of Lumia Files, an achievement system where playing the characters will unlock short stories. Season 4 will see character-specific special missions that were described as romantic. And the final cosmetic announcement is that Lumia Island will be getting a Christmas-themed makeover this Season 2. The Halloween map was unfortunately cancelled. Those that played in Early Access probably remember the snow-themed map that we had in the past. Some final notes to add: Cobalt Protocol is getting an overhaul. On the roadmap, it is listed as Cobalt 1.0 coming in later seasons. I've left a link to the dev summary in the pinned comment if you want to read some of the information regarding that, but just know I'll be doing a Cobalt 1.0 video when it's announced. Season 2 of Eternal Return is shaping up to be an exciting successor to Eternal Return 1.0. With upcoming changes, gameplay adjustments, and that enticing Battle Maids ER pass, there's a lot to look forward to. Season 2 will kick off with Eternal Return Conquest 2, a sequel to last year's event that I took part in. Be sure to support your favorite streamers again this year as they grind the ranks for the top spot. If you want to see a more elaborate version of the Eternal Return dev stream to get more in-depth details, you'll want to click or tap the screen now, and you'll be taken to my Eternal Return Season 2 dev stream reaction.